Before the age of 33, he conquered the known world. Born in Macedonia, tutored by the philosopher Aristotle. At 20, he became king. At 22, he invaded Persia. He crushed Darius III, not once, but twice. He took Egypt, founded Alexandria, and burned Persepolis, then marched into India, defeating war elephants. Never lost a single battle. At 32, he died mysteriously in Babylon. Alexander the Great, the unstoppable warrior king. Subscribe for more 60-second history legends. He rose from a poor nomad to the most feared conqueror in history. Genghis Khan, the man who united Mongol tribes and founded the largest land empire the world has ever seen. From the steppes of Mongolia to the gates of Europe, his armies left nothing untouched. His warfare was brutal, his tactics unmatched. But beyond bloodshed, he built trade routes, promoted meritocracy, and shaped civilizations. By the time of his death, the Mongol Empire spanned from China to Europe. Genghis Khan, a storm from the east who changed the course of history. The greatest military minds in history. Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general who took war to Rome's doorstep. During the Second Punic War, he led his army, including war elephants, across the freezing Alps, a feat no one thought possible. Outnumbered, outarmed. Yet he crushed Roman legions in battles like Cannae, one of the bloodiest ambushes in history. His genius terrified Rome for over a decade. Though he never captured the city, his tactics are still studied in military academies worldwide. Hannibal, the nightmare Rome could never forget. Subscribe for more epic history in 60 seconds. He crowned himself Emperor of France in 1804 and rewrote history with one law, the Napoleonic Code. Napoleon Bonaparte, military genius, strategist, and reformer. He rose from a soldier to emperor after the French Revolution. With unstoppable ambition, he built an empire across Europe, defeated kings, crushed armies, and rewrote laws forever. But in the end, even the greatest fall. Defeated at Waterloo, exiled to die in silence. Napoleon, the emperor who changed the world in less than 2 decades. Feared by empires, loved by warriors. Khalid ibn al-Walid, the Sword of Allah, was one of the greatest military commanders in history. He fought over 100 battles and never lost a single one. From the Byzantine Empire to the Sassanid Persians, none could stop his brilliant strategies. He turned the tide of Islamic conquests in the 7th century, leading decisive victories at Yarmouk and Qadisiyah. Even enemies respected his genius. Yet despite his unmatched battlefield legacy, he died not by the sword, but in bed, saying, "I fought in so many battles, yet I die as a camel dies," a warrior unmatched. From bloodshed to Buddhism, this is the story of Ashoka the Great. He was a ruthless Mauryan emperor who expanded his empire across India. But after the brutal Kalinga War, where thousands were slain, something changed. Haunted by the horrors of war, Ashoka embraced Buddhism. He turned away from violence and ruled with compassion, spreading peace and dharma across Asia. Ashoka sent Buddhist missionaries as far as Sri Lanka, Egypt, and Greece. He built stupas, pillars, and edicts preaching nonviolence and harmony. A warrior turned monk, and a king remembered not for his conquests, but his conscience. Ashoka the Great, the Emperor of Peace. He crossed the Rubicon and changed history forever. Julius Caesar, a brilliant general, politician, and master of ambition. Through the Gallic Wars, he expanded the Roman Republic into a massive empire stretching across Western Europe. His victories made him a hero to the people and a threat to the Senate. When Caesar marched on Rome in defiance of tradition, he sparked a civil war and won. In 44 BCE, he named himself dictator for life. But power came at a price. On the Ides of March, he was assassinated by his own senators, including his close friend Brutus. But his death didn't end the empire. It began it. Julius Caesar, the man who built Rome and was killed for it. Subscribe for more ancient legends in under 60 seconds. He was blind in one eye and lost an arm in battle. But he never lost a fight that mattered. Horatio Nelson, Britain's greatest naval commander. In 1805, at the Battle of Trafalgar, he faced the combined fleets of France and Spain. Outnumbered, outgunned, but not outmatched. Nelson broke every naval rule, splitting his fleet into two columns and charging straight into enemy lines. The result? A crushing victory that ended Napoleon's dreams of invading Britain. But it came at a cost. Nelson was struck by a sniper and died on deck. His final words, "Thank God I have done my duty." Nelson didn't just win battles. He changed the seas forever. Follow for more historic legends in 60 seconds. He wasn't a king. He wasn't even the face of the empire. But Subutai was the brain behind the Mongol war machine. While Genghis Khan got the glory, Subutai got the job done. He led over 20 military campaigns, from China to Europe, and conquered more territory than any general in history. At the Battle of Mohi in 1241, he crushed the Hungarian army with a masterful feigned retreat and river crossing. He moved armies like chess pieces across continents, sometimes striking in two distant regions at the same time. Subutai wasn't just a general. He was a military genius centuries ahead of his time. Follow for more untold legends of history in 60 seconds. One man outsmarted Hannibal, the terror of Rome. His name? Scipio Africanus. At just 25, he turned the tide of the Second Punic War. While Hannibal was undefeated in Italy, Scipio took the fight to Africa, forcing Carthage to recall him. Then came the Battle of Zama in 202 BC. Scipio didn't just beat Hannibal, he crushed him, ending the war and saving Rome. His tactics? Precision, discipline, boldness. His legacy? Eternal. Scipio Africanus, the Roman who outwitted a legend. Follow now for more legendary minds of ancient history. Baldwin IV of Jerusalem, the king who defied fate, stricken with leprosy as a child, but crowned king at just 13. He led Christian forces against the mighty Saladin, winning the legendary Battle of Montgisard with sheer brilliance. Despite his pain, he ruled with courage, strategy, and heart. The Leper King was more than his illness. He was Jerusalem's last great defender. History remembers his strength, not his scars. Follow for more hidden legends of history. Before 1187, Jerusalem had been under Crusader control for almost 90 years. Then came Saladin, a brilliant Muslim general and leader who united armies from across the Islamic world. With fierce determination and strategic genius, he launched a campaign to reclaim the holy city. Saladin's forces surrounded Jerusalem, and after a tough siege, the Crusaders surrendered. But what made Saladin truly legendary was his mercy. He allowed the people to leave safely and spared many lives. His victory didn't just change the map, it inspired countless generations and made him a symbol of honor and courage. Saladin, the warrior who changed history forever. Subscribe for more epic stories in under 60 seconds. The 6th century, when Rome had fallen, one man brought it back. His name was Belisarius, born a commoner, trained by Emperor Justinian. With just a few thousand men, he retook North Africa from the Vandals. then marched into Italy and defeated the Ostrogoths. He reclaimed Rome itself, not once, but twice, a master of strategy, loyal to a fault. He could have taken the throne, but never betrayed his emperor. Belisarius, the silent sword of Byzantium. Subscribe for more 60-second history legends. Blind in one eye, then blind in both, yet never defeated. His name was Jan Žižka, a Czech general, and the father of mobile warfare. He led the Hussite rebels against crusading armies. His secret? War wagons, moving fortresses armed with cannons. He crushed knights with farmers and peasants, even when completely blind. He commanded and won. He died undefeated, a genius of war, feared across Europe. Jan Žižka, the blind commander who changed the battlefield forever. Subscribe for more 60-second warrior legends. Subscribe for more 60-second history legends. Long before Alexander came Cyrus the Great. He founded the mighty Achaemenid Empire, the first Persian empire. Known not just for conquest, but compassion, he conquered Babylon without bloodshed and freed the Jews from captivity. His empire stretched from the Indus Valley to the Mediterranean Sea, but unlike other kings, he respected the cultures and religions of the people he ruled. Even the Greeks admired him. Cyrus the Great, the enlightened conqueror. Subscribe for more 60-second history legends. Timur, known in the West as Tamerlane, a Turco-Mongol warlord who rose from the steppes of Central Asia. He claimed descent from Genghis Khan and dreamed even bigger. By sword and strategy, he built the Timurid Empire, stretching from India to the Mediterranean. He crushed the Delhi Sultanate, burned Baghdad, and humbled the Ottomans. Feared for his brutality, yet admired for spreading art, architecture, and science. His capital, Samarkand, became a jewel of the Islamic world. Timur the Lame, but never weak. Subscribe for more 60-second history legends. Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, a queen of intelligence, strategy, and unmatched charisma, fluent in many languages and trained in politics, science, and art. She seduced Julius Caesar, then allied with Mark Antony, reshaping the fate of Rome and Egypt. But power came at a cost. After their defeat at Actium, she chose death over humiliation. With her fall, the Egyptian monarchy ended, and Rome took Egypt. Yet her legend lived on as a symbol of beauty, ambition, and fierce independence. Cleopatra VII, the last queen never forgotten. Subscribe for more 60-second history legends. Alexander Suvorov, the Russian general who never lost a battle. Born in 1729, he rose through the ranks with unmatched discipline and tactical brilliance. He won 63 battles across Europe, from the Alps to the Black Sea. He crushed the Ottomans, beat the Poles, and humiliated Napoleon's finest. Suvorov believed in speed, morale, and simplicity. Often outnumbered, never outmaneuvered. He famously led his troops across the freezing Alps in one of history's boldest campaigns. His motto, train hard, fight easy. He died a legend, undefeated and revered even by his enemies. Alexander Suvorov, the Iron General of Russia. Subscribe for more 60-second history legends. Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington, Napoleon's final nemesis. Born in Ireland, trained in India, and destined to command empires. He rose through the British Army ranks, mastering tactics in the Peninsular War. In 1815, he faced the greatest military genius of his time, Napoleon Bonaparte. At the Battle of Waterloo, Wellesley held the line against overwhelming French assaults. With perfect timing, Prussian reinforcements arrived, and Napoleon was defeated for good. Wellesley's calm under fire and mastery of defensive warfare made him a living legend. He became a national hero and later served twice as Britain's Prime Minister. Arthur Wellesley, the Iron Duke who changed the course of European history. Subscribe for more 60-second history legends.